I'm going to start it off like this. From the article from CBR, I'm not reading the whole article to you. You can check it out, but I did read it, right? So while speaking with Variety, Daly and Goldstein, the two directors, guys that are working on the Dungeons and Dragons movies, discuss how Michelle Rodriguez's Holga the Barbarian and Sophia Lillis's Doric the Druid, she's a tiefling druid, I think Holga's a human, tend to engage in the frontline battle, or front lines of battle compared to their male party members. That was not an attempt at wokeness on our part. Well, duh, you have the bruiser / possible tank character inside of the barbarian. The barbarian normally attacks things. The barbarian normally attacks. They're the physical hit. Sometimes they're the tank. Sometimes they're the heavy hitter. Then you have the druid who could turn into an owlbear. Physical type of creature. They are, of course, they would be on the front lines, right? As the premier fighters. I mean, watch Vox Machina. Watch the other D&D movies, like the Wrath of the God. You will see those physical people, especially a barbarian, they're there to handle the business. Okay? But then it goes to this. So they said tend to engage in the front lines of battle compared to their male counter party members. That was not an attempt at wokeness on our part. So you already know it's like that thing of, it's kind of like that statement of, I'm not racist, but Goldstein and Daly elaborated saying, swear to God, it wasn't, right? We like that Holgo is the bruiser and bruiser that does the dirty work for Edgin. And he doesn't like to get his hands dirty. Now, you could have stopped right there. He's a bard. Bards are supports. If you ever played any D&D whatsoever, you would know that. But no! They gotta add that extra part. We love emasculating leading men. You're trash! You're stupid! Now, we're gonna talk about the problem. So, you have a wizard. A wizard is a glass cannon. They're normally not jumping in the front line. They shouldn't be. They should be hitting them from the back with a lot of power. There's a paladin in this movie. Now, I don't know if he's with the team the whole time, but why wouldn't the paladin also be on the front line? I mean, he could be an NPC, but they sure as hell like to promote him in the trailer. So I'm going to assume that he's a part of the team eventually, but he's a paladin. As a paladin, they are going to be heavy armor class. Even if he was a very healing focused paladin, he wears plate armor, or he can. So that's weird. But let's say he's not a part of the team. He's just part of a NPC, literally a part of an adventure that happens. If you go with the core group, you have a wizard, you have the bard who is a support character, and you have a heavy hitter. That's actually not a bad combination for a 3-people group. Then you add on a druid who could be a person that joins the game. And the druid happens to also be able to turn into an owlbear, which an owlbear is a powerhouse. Okay, so these two are the physical fighters who kind of get the grind in, while the other one is prepping the spells to blow stuff up. And the bard can have some strong spells, but the bard also is there to possibly support, give you healing, depending on the type of bard they are. So why did you need to emasculate the leading man? Why couldn't it just be that way for a D&D campaign as it would be? That means you're going out of your way to do this. And by going out of your way to do this, what's going to happen now is I'm going to have you under extra scrutiny. Now, I know some people will be like, why would you be watching Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves? Well, I want to see what they do. I was going to see if I could catch the early viewing, but the weekend had so much stuff happening, there was no way I could pull it off. I've been super duper busy. That's life. I, constantly have things coming at me, messing with me, just like every other person. So, I don't like the fact that we have to keep attacking manhood. And I know some people will be like, well, toxic masculinity. Well, where's the toxic femininity? Or how about, better yet, sometimes people are just toxic. Now, if you want to break the trope of the classic guy, leading the team or whatever, or the paladin who's the leader of the group. Okay, that's fine. But to then say you went out of your way to make sure it's bad, like it's a bad thing, that could be to your detriment. Because I'm sick and tired of Hollywood not having the proper type of strong female lead and not having the proper type of strong male lead. A strong female lead isn't somebody who's stoic, who's just sitting there with no emotions, who just is like, and is better than every man ever just because she was born. Like what they did in Captain Marvel. They were holding her power back. Like, that's not it. And it's funny when people talk about this because they'll be like, these people hate strong female leads, or these people hate this, or every time it's this type of person, that's what they're saying. No. There's a reason why people bring up Princess Leia, Ripley, Alita Battle Angel, and all these other characters, because those female leads still felt like females. They were strong, powerful, they had their emotions. A woman like a mother who wants to protect her child, that's an emotion. That's a strength. When it comes to a man, he doesn't have to be overly like, I'm better than every woman on the planet. But there's a way he can still be a man. There's a way he can still approach things and be who he is. So I'm curious if they balanced this out and they were saying it to maybe get some check marks or pats on the back or whatever. If this feels like, if the banter and the things like that feel proper, as if someone was playing around a table, then good job on them. But now I'm going to keep that in the back of my head, that you went out of your way to make every male character be inept to the female characters. Instead of, well, the type of characters that they picked are going to be a certain type of way. Because, like I said, both when it comes to who's going to fight what, the barbarian is going to be the one that's going to bring the noise. A druid that can turn into an owlbear or a bear or an animal, they're going to be able to bring the noise. But the wizard should be blasting right there with them, just not all the way in the face. Like the way the dynamic is set up, I'm totally fine with the barbarian being the muscle, as they should, especially with the two characters. A bard to a barbarian, you're going to want the barbarian to knock somebody out, not the bard. So I don't know what we're going to get. I've heard there's a lot of people that have seen it, who seem to have liked it, thought it was very well done, and thought they subverted things in a positive way. So maybe in the writing, they may have said it, and then in the writing, they were just like, okay, so now that we said that, what's really going on is this to that. These are these type of characters, so as it should. Chris Pine's supposed to be the lead. Let's see what happens. I can say this, I don't like that. That's already tainting the experience that I would have, where normally I try to go in with a clean slate, and I'm going to try to mentally go in with that clean slate. But that is a little bit of taint. I can get around a bad review or someone say, hey, I don't like it, because I have to see it for myself. But when you're telling me what you're doing, oh, we're actively trying to make the men look like fools. We're actively trying to do this. Now you're setting a stage that you're setting me up for an expectation. And that's not good. Because that's a bad expectation, because now I'm going to be looking for it. So we shall see. If you've seen Honor Amongst Thieves, please let me know what what your experience is with it. Like I said, right now, that I was still curious enough to see it, even though I have a lot of issues with Wizard of the Coast. I was curious enough to go, okay, let's see what the fantasy does. Now, the last couple things, hopefully I'm expecting the CG to be okay. I'm not expecting it to be blowout, because the studio probably was not able to put enough money into it, because Dungeons & Dragons has been a product of movie-wise that's been kind of like, side, you know what I mean? But hopefully, it's good enough that I'm like, all right, it works. And from what I've seen in the trailer, I'm like, what I've seen works. So I'm hoping it kind of sticks to that, where even if it's a little uncanny valley, it's enough that I can go, that's not terrible. You know, I'm like, okay, that's okay, kind of thing. Where Marvel, no, you're the biggest studio ever, or the biggest franchise ever, with one of the biggest studios, if not the biggest studio in the world of Disney. You have no excuse. And if the CG in this movie is better than what I've seen in recent Phase 4, I will make a comment about that. But like I said, because my one friend, he definitely is like, no, we have to go see this. We have to go see this. So I'm like, all right, I'll go with you to see it. You know, we'll check it out. So I'll let you know. But if you have seen it, tell me what you think. Did they emasculate the way they said they did? I don't know. But I would love to hear it from someone else. So far, I've only seen one person that I follow review it, and he said he actually liked the dynamic, like how they did the dynamic of all the characters and the people. That was Jeremy Johns. So that's all, and then that kind of just came up as it was playing. They were in autoplay. So, like I said, that's what I have to say. I don't like it. That's definitely points down for me, because now it's going to be a distraction to me. But Geek Protagonist, you stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. I'll see you.